Hello, I'm Julianne. I'm going to be showing you how to make your Kintsugi Mended heart from the Kintsugi Mended heart art kit. So here's an example of the finished product. Magnet on the back. All right, so we'll start in your kit. You've got their paper cutouts, the painted cutouts, and then you've got the paper that you're going to glue the heart to. Okay, I'm just going to adjust my camera so that you can see my workspace. All right, so first take your cart, your painted heart, and then you're going to rip it, usually about 5 times. So rip it once, again, and then I'll take this piece, rip that a couple times. All right, now you're going to take your cardstock, you're going to be gluing these pieces to it, and you put it back together. First step is to just kind of see how the pieces go, paying attention to the white paper of the rips, making sure that the white goes underneath the colored. See how this goes underneath that. And get an idea of how it goes back together. And then you can just push the pieces to the side of the heart in the same pattern that they go back together. All right, now you're going to take your paintbrush and use some of your glue and spread glue all over the paper heart. You might need to wet your brush from time to time. So just a thin layer of glue all over it. Okay, so now you want to start with a piece, if you have a piece that has white on both edges, because those will be going underneath the other edges. So start with that if you have one, or start with one that has at least one white edge. And you're going to put it onto the heart. Sometimes you can lift it up and just see how much it's lining up. It can come over the edge a little bit, but not too much. You want it to line up pretty well. And now take a little bit more glue and paint it on the white edges. And depending on how your heart was ripped, you want to take the next one that'll go on top of that white edge, and then it still has a white edge for the next piece to go on top of. So just line that up. Place it down. Again, if you want to check on the other side how far over it's coming. So just a little bit is good. And then again, put paint on that ripped edge that's showing. And you're just going to keep doing that, going around the heart. Put the pieces down. And make sure that it gets all the way to the edge of the white paper heart. It's okay to have some space in between the pieces because you're going to be painting them with gold. All right, so see how I've got a little space in between that? That's fine. You just want to make sure that you're covering up the white paper heart behind it. So a little more glue on that white side, and then the next piece. Line that up. And then glue on both of those pieces. And again, you want to make sure that the edge of the heart, the painted heart, lines up with the edge of the white paper behind it. And there we go. So it is okay to have space in between because that's where we'll be painting the gold. All right, so rinse your brush off pretty well. Now at this point, you want to push it down, make sure it's glued real well. You can stick it under a book to flatten it for a little bit while it dries, or you can go right ahead and paint the gold in it, depending on your timing. Just getting some gold paint. Okay, just take a little bit on the tip of your brush and we'll paint the cracks first. So just take the tip of your brush and paint the gold along the cracks. And remember, the art of Kintsugi is about celebrating the imperfections, so don't worry too much about getting it perfectly in the line. You can go over the edges a little bit. Just take care when you're turning the heart to do the other cracks that you don't touch the one you already painted and smear it. All right, so then keep going and paint all the cracks. Okay, just one more. Okay, so once you're done with the cracks, you probably want to let that dry just a little bit. You can blow on it, just so you don't take a chance of smearing it as you paint the edges. So the next step is painting the gold around the edges. So just hold on to it and take your brush and just go right around the edge. Just take your time. All right, and keep going till you have it all the way around all the edges. Here, I've got one to show you. Let's finish. Now this one is all dry. So the next step, once you paint the edges of your heart with the gold, let it dry well before you we're going to put a gloss on it. So you can use a hair dryer if you would like to speed up the drying process. It shouldn't take, this gold paint dries pretty quickly, shouldn't take too long. All right, so once it's dry, we're going to put a gloss medium on both the front and the back to give it a nice sheen and to protect it. So I like to start with the back and just spread a nice thin layer. Make sure you get all the way to the edges. Smooth it out. And then you're going to let this dry. You're going to set it down and let it dry. One thing you can do is once you set it down, let it dry for just a few minutes and then come back and pick it up. Make sure that none of the gloss is gone over the edges and sticking to your paper towel. So you can rub your fingers under that. And then once that's dry, you're going to flip it over and do the same on the front. Put a nice gloss on that and let that dry. And then once that's all dry, you glue the magnet on the back and sign it in your Kintsugi heart. Thank you and enjoy.